At around 350 yards, distance is not a problem on this hole. But care must be taken with the tee shot to avoid the out of bounds all the way down the left-hand side of the fairway and a copse of trees awaiting a pushed drive to the right-hand side that will block your approach to the green. A good tee shot, safely negotiated, should leave a medium to short iron into the green, and with only one solitary bunker to the front right-hand side of the green, should then give you a good chance of hitting the green and getting off to a nice start. The tee shot on holes 2 and 11 is a blind shot over a hill about 100 yards away, which makes the fairway difficult to hit. Aim for the right edge of the fairway on top of the hill and you should be fine. There are 2 greens on this par 4 hole. You play to the shorter one on hole number 2, which is around 330 yards in distance. Whilst the approach to the second is a much shorter shot, a well-bunkered green makes hitting the putting surface essential if you're going to walk off this hole with a par. The 11th green doglegs off to the right and plays much longer at about 400 yards. It's a much longer shot than the second, and with a long narrow green at an angle to where you are playing from, it makes it very difficult to hit. Whilst the second can be considered a birdie chance, a par on 11 is definitely a good result. Holes 3 and 12. A drivable par 4 at around 290 yards makes this hole a birdie chance. But anybody thinking this hole is easy is likely to walk off it disappointed. Hole 3 is slightly shorter and you drive over a pond from the 12th tee. Care has been taken not to catch the bunker cutting into the fairway on the left-hand side at about 200 yards from the tee. If it does catch you, it will leave an extremely difficult 70-yard bunker shot into the green. At around 230 yards from the tee on the right-hand side is a copse of trees down into a little valley, which again, if it catches you, will make the second shot into the green extremely difficult. Once these have been safely negotiated, you should be left with a good chance of making a birdie, or at the very worst par. But care still must be taken with the second shot, as a bank in front of the green and 2 bunkers on either side can still catch you out if you're not careful. Holes 4 and 13. A right-hand dogleg par 5 of around 530 yards, which is reachable in 2 for the longer hitters. A good line from the tee is the right-hand edge of the farmhouse on the hill in the distance. With out of bounds down the right-hand side of the hole for the first half of its length, care must be taken with the tee shot. There's also a pond on the left-hand side corner of the dogleg awaiting the longer hitters. The approach to the green is made difficult with a long bunker cutting into the fairway about 15 yards short of the green on the right. This forces many of the longer hitters to lay up rather than have a go for the green in 2. Keep down the left-hand side of the fairway and it will open up the green for your pitch shot into it. Holes 5 and 14. The hardest hole on the card, and quite rightly so. A slight dogleg left, it's 435 yards on the card, but plays longer than that with the first half of the hole being uphill, meaning only the longest hitters can reach this hole in 2. Even for them, it can be unreachable if the prevailing wind is in the wrong direction. A tee shot too far left will leave you blocked out from the green by a copse of trees. It doesn't get any easier with the approach as you're trying to hit a long narrow green with a fairway wood, or at best a long iron, and with a deep pot bunker to the front left of the green, and a bank beyond this throwing a slightly pulled shot off to the left. Anybody walking off this hole with a par will do so feeling very pleased with themselves. Holes 6 and 15. At 430 yards, this is the second hardest hole on the course, immediately following the hardest, making this an extremely tough stretch. From the tee, the right half of the fairway slopes to the right, throwing any tee shot landing here off to the right, where there's rough and a line of trees awaiting. The last third of the hole is downhill to a very narrow green, making the approach usually a blind shot, which, when conditions are firm, needs to be landed short. Otherwise, there's a danger of running through the green, down a steep bank at the back and out of bounds. There's also a deep bunker guarding the green front right to catch any slightly pushed second shot. Holes 7 and 16. The first of the par 3s is around 140 yards on the card, but plays longer than this as it's uphill, especially from the lower tees. A well-protected green with deep bunkers front right and left, a steep bank on the left edge kicking a pulled tee shot off into trouble, and the rest of the green surrounded by trees makes hitting the green a must if you're to walk off this hole with a par. Holes 8 and 17. Another par 3 and longer than the last at around 175 yards, but this one plays slightly shorter than its length, being downhill. The 8th and 17th tees on this hole are about 50 yards apart, but the difficulties remain the same no matter which tee you're playing off. Out of bounds left of the green, and the front and right of the green protected by a water hazard make this another must-hit green. Holes 9 and 18. No time to relax here, with probably the most difficult driving hole on the course. Playing uphill, this par 4 hole plays longer than the 315 yards length on the card suggests. The fairway is at a different angle to the tee, making alignment very tricky, and with out of bounds all the way up the left, and a water hazard and trees all the way up the right, plus 2 deep bunkers on either side of the fairway within range from the tee, the potential for ruining an otherwise good card on this hole is high. The approach up a 2-tiered green, surrounded by 3 deep bunkers, makes not just hitting the green, but putting it in the right spot on the green a must if you're not going to leave yourself an almost impossible downhill putt.